Romania's, I probably shouldn't say this on the internet, but I'm going to. Romania's completely corrupt from head to toe, right? So when Corona came, through fighting and through these things, I have a very, very extensive network in Romania. I like to make this very clear. One of the reasons I love living there so much is because I'm at the very top echelon of society. If I need to speak to the prime minister, I can make that happen, right? I can't do that in the West, yeah? So we went and met with some members of parliament, and they're like, well, it's not us, it's European Union directed all of this COVID lockdown garbage. They knew COVID was a scam. They knew it. Everyone knew it. European Union told us to. They gave us billions in relief funds, bribes to listen. So we can't really open them. You can open them if you don't put the outside lights on and you just like on the sly. So I did a deal with them to open them on the sly and pay bribes. So I was open for like the first month with bribes, but the bribe kept going up because it's Romania, right? The police chief would come. He wants some. And the police chief would call his mate, who's the fucking, I don't know, fire inspector, some jackass, he'd come. Then the alcohol licensing man would come. It was just like, everyone's got on the phone like, hey, this casino's still open. They'll pay you to go away. So before three brothers, mafia guys, they own 400 casinos throughout Eastern Europe. I came up to them and said, look, I want to do a franchise with you. They said, we're not interested in franchises. We have enough money. We just open them ourselves. We turn over 10 million euros a day. Eventually, I came up with a plan. I said, look, how about this? I'll open up your locations directly next to your biggest competitor. So I'll go to war for you next to your competitor. Worst case, the location doesn't pay any money, but at least it takes money from your competitor. I'll give you a percentage of turnover, so even if it doesn't make profit, you make money. I'll take all the financial risk. They agreed. I started opening up next to their biggest competitor.
If I fuck up big time and England wants me in jail, I can fly on a Nigerian passport, or an American, or an English, or a Polish, or an Estonian. I have so many fucking passports. What, are you gonna block them all? I've got 4 more I haven't even named on YouTube. They can't stop me traveling. There's always a passport I can pull out. There's always a driver's license I can pull out. If you ban one, I've got another one. I've got bank accounts in 19 countries. My shit is diversified. So am I off grid? No, I'm on so many fucking grids. You can't lock the grid on me, because there's too fucking many of them. People are asking me what's the first thing I should do when I get money. I'll tell you the first thing you should do right now if you have a little bit of money in the bank is look it up, because you'll be surprised. Even a license like a Thai license. Thai's the best. You pull out a Thai driver's license, it's not even in English. It's in those squiggly letters. And they're like, is this real? I'm like, yeah, it's real. You can't drive here on this? Yeah, you can. Google it. If I have an international driver's permit, which I have, which costs $150, and a Thai license, I can drive in Europe. And they sit there and they look at the Thai license and think, what am I going to do, call Bangkok?
Texted me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing. You threw up my blah, 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 blah. She went to the police.
Oh, shit.
And told the police I hit her when I didn't.
Whoa.
So it's 5 in the morning, and this is about 4 months later. 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. And I heard the door, boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. The way they knocked that door, I was like, if you were going to rob me, you kick the door in, or this is just too obvious. And as soon as I heard that noise, I paused for a second. I heard police, and I was like, man. I was like, but I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life, right? I've done some things when I had to pay the bills,
right?
So I was a bit like, what's this going to be? So I like flush my phone down the toilet quickly. Boom, this shit. I'm coming. So I'm trying to hide shit. I'm looking around. Like, what do I have to hide? Eventually, the door comes off the hinges. Boom. Police bust in. Yeah. Fully armored, helmet. Boom. The guy at the back had a clipboard of me.
Okay, Underworld Podcast back here with a short video. You know, we don't really get into the whole culture war stuff here, but the Andrew Tate thing is huge. I think we can add some unique perspective to it, and you know, from an organized crime perspective. And you know, we want to juice the YouTube algorithm and get those views up. So we're not going to go really into the content of what the guy does. Personally, I think he's a cornball who's trying too hard to impress 15-year-olds. But you know, we research and report in person on global organized crime, so we want to talk about that. And to be clear, we do not participate in organized crime. And if we did, I would not advertise that on the podcast or YouTube because I'm not a moron. But I also am not Andrew Tate. So you know the motto, don't Instagram your crimes. If you expand that, it also is like, don't go on multiple podcasts, don't go on YouTube shows and admit to these sort of things, you know, while turning yourself into a big internet viral celebrity, while just continually bragging about shady things you're doing and how you're bribing corrupt officials and all that. It's a bad idea all around, and it's going to come back on you. And this guy, you know, he's not that bright. He kept doing this while also having a website that borderline, like, gray area admits to manipulating women into doing sex work. I guess he's the king of what the kids would call self-snitching. So obviously, you know, his whole thing about predicting he's going to get arrested, it's like, yeah, you were pretty out there, And eventually that's going to catch up to you. And it's not because he was targeted by the Illuminati or whatever it is. The, powerful people, Fortune 500 CEOs, high-level politicians, they don't know who this guy is, right? You know how out of touch these people are who deal with like billion-dollar companies and all these decisions? They don't know who like Mr. Beast is and like the most popular people in the world like that, right? They're out of touch and they deal with real shit. So they're not worried about some internet micro-celebrity telling 15-year-olds to like, call women bad names. They don't care. What did this guy in is the fact that he was bragging about bribing corrupt officials in a country that's super, starting to crack down on it for EU reasons, and also sex trafficking. What we do know is that Romania is a hotspot for human trafficking and sex trafficking in Europe. According to an analyst I know in Romania, the camgirl sex trafficking thing is huge, or has gotten huge in recent years, because it's way easier than, like, if you're a pimp, putting women on the street or, trafficking them into Italy or Amsterdam to do the same there. It's a much cheaper option to do it in these studios in Romania, and there's a lot of them popping up. And the authorities have kind of slacked off on it, and they're only now just starting to crack down. So it makes sense that if you're a guy who's doing this in the English language all over the internet, all over media, and you're starting to get headlines, like, this is what's going to happen. According to the State Department, Romania remains a primary source country for sex and labor trafficking victims in Europe. We know that Tate had set up this webcam girl business in Romania, and he frequently mentioned he thinks the rules there are a lot looser, and because, in his own words, it is a very corrupt country. Again, don't say things like that if you're doing crime in a certain country, especially as a foreigner. You don't brag about bribing, but it's just the dumbest shit imaginable. So, all these things alone are very suspicious, and the fact that he's a foreigner isn't going to bode well. No one wants to hear, in general, about a foreigner coming to their country and, like, manipulating and allegedly pimping out the woman there. It just not, especially, I think Westerners, when they go to Eastern Europe, unfortunately have that reputation of promoting sex work, doing stuff like this. It's not a good look. And if you're doing that, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. And throughout these clips we're showing, he continually talks about doing crimes. He might just be a massive liar, or maybe he's just self-snitching, which is what, we actually talk about a lot, especially, the motto, right? Don't Instagram your crimes. He did that and like way, way more. And if you look at the case so far of what Romanian police have said, this isn't like a loose thing, right? There are 6 alleged victims, not one. One of them was an American citizen. I think 1 or 2 were Moldovan. The rest were Romanian. The Romanian police mention, coercion, both physical abuse and mental abuse. There's a rape allegation. There's talk of them holding these women against their will. These allegations are really, really serious and really heinous. Now, again, innocent until proven guilty. But, if I was someone out there online, considering how easily the allegations made against him line up with a lot of stuff he said, I wouldn't be rushing to his defense, because this does not look good, and he looks like he's a real scumbag. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick rundown, and this is our attempt to take advantage of the current hot trending topics and juice our numbers.